Welcome to Yoga with Sabrina. Today is a practice for tight glutes. Yes, I'm talking about the butt. We can hold a lot of tension in our hips and our glutes, and it's important to keep these areas open for mobility, and especially if you're somebody who works in an office or are on your feet all day. Sometimes the areas around our glutes, like our hips and our hip flexors, can get very tight, as well as the low back. Because the body is interconnected, we often focus on one area of the body, but we forget that there's an interconnectedness. So we want to keep everything open with an area that's affected by being tight. So what we'll do is we'll work on our glutes, our hips, as well as our hip flexors and our low back. So really targeting all the areas that are connected with our glutes. When you're ready, meet me on your mat in Shavasana. Lying on your back. Just come to a comfortable lying position with your palms facing up and your feet hip distance apart. And begin by softening through your jaw and your face. And then pay attention to your back and your glutes and your legs. And letting go of any tension in those areas. And then bend through your knees. And then bring your knees in towards your chest, holding on the front of your knees. We'll begin by just gently massaging the low back, under sacrum. And then see if you can roll a little bit further to the left and to the right. You may need to widen your knees to do this. See if you can get in the outer hips, so massaging through the outer hips. And then start to make some circles with your knees. So low back, as if you were drawing a circle with your knees. Rolling to the outer hips. And then changing directions with your knee circles. You can bring your knees closer to you as you make these circles, and then allowing the knees to move away from you. And then rolling just to the right side, keeping your knees wide. Just a little gentle massage on the right side. And then move to the left. And then bring your feet back to your mat. Shoulder blades back on the mat. Cross your right ankle on top of your left knee. So for figure 4 pose. You can press your right knee gently away from you with your right hand. Seeing how that feels. And again, keeping your sacrum on the mat. And if you walk your left foot in a little bit closer, just gives you maybe a little bit more of a stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can hold onto the back of your left thigh, keeping your low back on the mat. Flex your left foot and allow your right hip to release. So soften any tension at the hip joint. Take a breath. Bend through your left knee if your leg is extended, and then we'll come to the other side. Left ankle on top of your right knee. Press your left knee away. If you want a little bit more, holding onto the back of your right thigh with your right leg extended. And wherever you are, see if you can let go of any tension in your low back, your hips, your jaw. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Bring both feet to your mat. Walk your feet under your knees and bring your knees in towards your chest, and then gently start to let your knees fall to the right side of your mat. So a little spinal twist here. So the closer your knees are toward your chest, the deeper the stretch. You can also let your knees come down toward the bottom of your mat a little bit. You want to keep your bottom knee on the mat. You can place something under your knee if you need to, a blanket. And you can extend your left arm out into a T shape. So opening through the left side body and the chest as well. Take a breath in. And exhale, let it out. Bring your belly button in toward your spine. Use your core strength to bring your knees back up. Squeeze your knees in toward your chest. And then we'll come to the other side. Knees in toward your chest. And then let your knees fall to the left. Spinal twist on the left. Open your right arm. Breathe. Take a breath in and out. And then make your way back to center. Use your core strength. Squeeze your knees in. And then place your feet back on the mat. Allow your right knee to come on top of your left knee. So as if you're crossing your legs and you were in a chair. And then allow your knees to fall to the right side. Left arm opens up. Take a breath. This is really good for stretching out our core, the front of our hips. And then come back to center. And then switch sides. Cross your left knee over your right. And allow your knees to fall to the left. So the soles of your feet will be off the mat. Even your right foot coming onto the inside of your right foot. Breathe. Take a breath in and take a breath out. And then come back to center. Bring your knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a little hug. And then place your feet on your mat. Cross your right leg over your left. And then bring your knees in toward your chest. So wherever you are with this pose, just be gentle. You can bring both of your hands on the front of your knees. So right hand on left knee. Left hand on right knee, and gently squeeze in toward the body. Take a breath. Release any tension in your hips and your hip joints. See if you can let go all the muscles around your tailbone. If you can hold onto your ankles and bring your knees in a little closer. Breathe in and breathe out. Relax your shoulders and your jaw. And then let's switch sides. Left knee over right. Right hand on left knee. Left hand on right knee. Pull your knees in toward your chest gently. Start here. Take a breath. Release tension in your belly and your hips. And if it's available to you, you can hold on to your ankles. And come a little deeper. Breathe in and breathe out. And release. Bring your feet back to the mat. And we'll come into tabletop. So you can rock and roll if you want with me on your spine and the back of your hips and your glutes. So feeling that in your sitting bones as you come up, the place between your sitting bones and your sacrum. And then cross your legs, come to tabletop. From tabletop, curl your toes under and find a gentle downward facing dog. So press your chest toward your knees, lengthen through your arms, tailbone lifts, soften through your ankles, thigh bones back. Step your right foot forward between your hands, left knee down, top of your left foot on the mat. Coming into a lunge here. So bringing your hands on top of your right thigh, lengthen through the spine. And keeping your spine long and your core engaged. Press into the back foot. Press into the front foot. And then exhale, see if you can release. So sinking into the pose, but keeping your spine long, keeping your core engaged slightly, just so you're not dropping into your joint. So a little active here in the pose. Stretching through the front of the left hip. Breathe. Frame your front foot, curl your left toes under, and step your left foot in until your left foot is on the mat. Toes pointing forward and just out slightly. Start to make your way up. Create some space between your feet, straighten your front leg, and then start to come down into a runner's lunge. Lengthen through your spine, folding toward your front foot. Chin tucks in slightly. Draw your right hip back. Exhale, fold a little deeper if you can. And breathe. Bend through your right knee. Bring both hands on the inside of your right foot. Step back to plank pose. And then make your way into downward facing dog. Lift your tailbone, press your thigh bones back. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Bend through your right knee. And then stack your right hip over your left. Press into your arms. And then bring your right knee toward your right thumb. Set your leg down and come into pigeon. Walk your left knee back. Top of your left foot is on the mat, and it's toward the center of your mat. So just notice here, release any tension in your glute, your right hip. And if you can make your way down onto your elbows. Use any props that you need to, if you like. And we'll just take a breath here. Breathe in and breathe out. It's okay if your right foot starts to come towards your left hip. Your shin does not have to be parallel with the top of your mat, just meeting yourself where you're at. All of our bodies are different. Create your own shape with ease and mindfulness in the posture. And if anything doesn't feel good, just come out. few more breaths in our pigeon pose. If you want, you can even make your way down so that your chest is on your right leg, forehead is on the mat. Breathe. Big breaths into the belly, the ribs, and the collarbone. Our basic yogic breathing, 3-part breath. And then start to make your way back up. Curl your left toes under, come back to plank pose, and then make your way into downward facing dog. Lift your tailbone, press your palms into the mat, all your fingers, thigh bones back. Breathe. Step your left foot forward, right knee down, top of your right foot on the mat, coming into our low lunge. Spine is long, and then see if you can sink a little deeper into the front of your right hip. Keep your chest and your heart lifted. Breathe into your belly, your ribs, and your collarbone. Framing your front foot. Curl your right toes under, step your right foot forward until it's on the mat. Make your way up into your runner's lunge. Straighten your left leg and then fold toward your left foot. Tips of your fingers can be on your mat or you can rest them on your left leg. Lengthen through the spine as if you were sitting in a chair. And then exhale, fold. Soft bend in the left knee. Right foot is on the mat, even your pinky toe. Step it in if you need to. Breathe. You're going to bend a little bit through your right leg. Step your left foot forward, left foot back, come into plank, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot reaches up, bend through your left knee, stack your left hip on top of your right, soften through your right ankle, press your hands away, press into your arms. And then left knee toward left thumb, right knee back, pigeon pose on the left. You can look at your positioning of your right foot. You can line it up. Breathe. And then soften into the posture. Releasing through the left glute, the belly, the hips, and then make your way down onto your forearms if that feels good. And then maybe even making your way down onto your forehead. And taking a few breaths with mindfulness and compassion. The more we can breathe and pay attention to our body and the space in our muscles and our joints, the more we create awareness of our body and what our body needs. Take a breath in and then let let it out. Good. To make your way back up. Curl your right toe under, step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Soften your heels, press your hands away from you, lengthen through your arms. Tailbone lifts, thigh bones back, chest toward your knees. And then exhale, let your knees come down. Tops of your feet sit back toward your heels. Keep your arms extended long. Forehead on the mat for child's pose. Walk your fingertips toward the right side of your mat. So stretching through the left side of the body, and then see if you can just shift your hips to the left, just gently toward the left. Take a breath. And then shift your hips back, walk your fingertips to the left side of your mat, extended child's pose, and then see if you can sit your hips gently to the right. This can be a real micro movement just to feel any sort of a stretch in your hip, the side body. You may even feel it up your arm. There's no right or wrong place. It's your body. Just notice. And then start to sit back to center with your heels. Walk your fingertips forward. Let your forehead come down. Take a breath into your belly. And then exhale, let it out. And then gently start to come back up, seated on your heels. And then we'll swing our legs out in front of us. Bend through your right knee and then step your right foot over to the left side of your mat. So toes pointing forward, right foot is beside your left knee. Sit tall, feel into your sitting bones, and bring your heel in as close as you can towards your left hip. Not right at the hip, but just bring it in gently, just a couple of inches. Extend through your bottom leg, so press the heel away from you. Lengthen through your spine. Wrap your left arm around your right knee, gently twist towards your right side for Marichi twist. Hug your right knee in towards your left shoulder and breathe. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Come back to center on the exhale. Untwist. And we'll do the other side. Step your left foot over your right knee. Sit tall. Bring your heel in. Wrap your right arm around your left leg. Twist gently to the left. Hug your left knee in toward your body, toward your right shoulder. And breathe. One more inhale in. One more exhale. As you exhale, come back to center with your head and then untwist. Lengthen both of your legs. Sit nice and tall for staff pose. Press your heels away from you. Sit tall. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Release any tension around your knees. Lengthen through your spine again. And see if you can fold just a little deeper. Breathe in and breathe out. And just holding here for a moment. And with awareness, start to make your way up nice and slow, one vertebra at a time. And then bend through your knees, sit towards your heels and make your way down onto your back. And just gently hug your legs in, hug your knees in towards your chest. I've got a visitor here. Wow. Nice and warm, Rip. Thank you. So taking your right leg over your left leg, so similar to when we started. See if you can hold on to the fronts of your knees again. Give yourself a little squeeze in. As if you were sitting in a chair, just crossing one leg over the other and then squeezing the knees in toward the body. And then bringing your feet back to the mat, switching sides. Squeeze your knees in towards your body. And then releasing, bringing both feet to your mat. And then letting your knees fall from side to side, windshield wiper. Just releasing some tension in the low back and our hips. Moving from side to side. And then coming back to center, find your low back on the mat, your shoulders and your shoulder blades. Bend through your knees and then start to lift your heels up toward the ceiling. Press your heels away from you. So as if you were putting your feet on the ceiling. You can hold on to the backs of your legs. And then see if you can bring your toes a little bit closer toward your head. So maybe even bringing your toes in alignment with your gaze, with the back of your neck long. And maybe even holding onto your big toes. Release any tension in your low back. So this can really help with aligning the sitting bones, the muscles that are attached to the sitting bones behind our legs. Press your heels away. And then start to bend your knees, holding on to either the backs of your legs, your ankles, or your toes. We'll come into Happy Baby. So knees toward armpits, ankles over knees. And then bring your feet back down nice and slow. And then stretch your legs out. We'll come into our final Shavasana. Bring your palms facing up, tuck your shoulder blades under. Your feet are hip distance apart. Just take a breath into the belly, into your hips. Begin to relax your jaw, your face, your shoulders and arms, your fingers. And then even your chest, your back, your belly and your hips. And relax your glutes, the muscles in and around your tailbone, your thighs, your calves, your ankles and feet and toes. Just let the entire weight of your body fall onto your mat. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to your breath. Just wiggle your fingers a little bit and your toes. Bend through your knees. Place your low back on the mat and then bend your knees, bring them in towards your chest. And just rock and roll a little bit from side to side. Massaging your low back and maybe even outer hips. And then make your way onto your side and come up into a seated position. Just keep your eyes closed for a moment. Sit tall. Relax through your hips and your belly. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for joining me for this yoga practice for tight glutes. I hope you have an amazing day. Namaste.